Human perception evolved to process natural environments at a predictable pace. Our sensory hardware filters noise, allowing the prefrontal cortex to maintain steady, goal-directed focus. Engaging with modern digital ecosystems, specifically competitive gaming architectures, initiates a physical reconfiguration of the brain's architecture. The primary mechanism driving this change is the variable ratio reinforcement schedule, or VRR. These algorithms are engineered to bypass the brain's logical filtering centers and establish a direct connection to primitive reward circuitry. This loss of structural density occurs specifically within the Orbitofrontal Cortex, or OFC. This region serves as the command center for executive functions, governing impulse control, risk assessment, and social intelligence. Atrophy in this tissue compromises your primary cognitive assets. It weakens the ability to delay gratification, evaluate long-term consequences, and maintain a competitive professional edge. This is a forensic audit of how hyper-stimulation degrades personality hardware and a breakdown of the clinical protocols required to reverse it. Understanding the mechanics of this structural change is the first step toward reclaiming executive function. The mesolimbic pathway maps human motivation, transmitting signals from the ventral tegmental area to the nucleus accumbens. Dopamine acts as a reward prediction error signal, calculating the delta between expected and received rewards. A predicted reward resolves the error, returning the system to baseline. Modern gaming architectures weaponized randomized rewards to prevent this resolution. Delivering loot drops and rank increases at unpredictable intervals maximizes biological uncertainty. Because the outcome is never certain, the brain's reward prediction error remains mathematically unresolved. This unresolved state creates a chronic, high-amplitude dopaminergic surge. This hyperactive striatal loop begins to operate independently, effectively leaving the logic center of the prefrontal cortex offline. Forensic PET scans illustrate the severity of this surge. Active gaming induces endogenous dopamine releases so powerful they reduce raclopride binding in the striatum by up to 42. This longitudinal trial tracked physical gray matter volume over a 6-week period of intensive gaming exposure. 6 weeks of daily gaming is sufficient to cause directly measurable physical reduction in prefrontal gray matter. This process involves a neuroanatomical pattern known as thickening complexity decoupling. While the executive OFC thins, sensory and motor regions like the left prefrontal cortex unnaturally thicken. The brain is stripping resources from complex executive architecture to optimize for high-velocity, low-complexity motor reactions. These compulsive loops are executed en masse in hyperstimulated environments, reinforcing the biological trade-off. Chronic gaming induces a physical resource allocation in the mind, sacrificing long-term reasoning capabilities for primitive, immediate stimulus response. The frontostriatal neural pathways serve as a bridge, connecting primitive desires in the striatum to the logical restraint of the prefrontal cortex. The physical thinning of the OFC severs and weakens these critical regulatory pathways. This anatomical destruction impairs the hardware required to regulate emotions and execute long-term strategy. Functional imaging data confirms the disconnect. Subjects show hyperactivation in response to positive gaming cues. Conversely, these same individuals show blunted prefrontal activation when receiving negative, real-world feedback. This asymmetry creates a structural insensitivity to risk and consequence. This specific neural state neutralizes social intelligence, prioritizing immediate subcortical gratification over long-term strategy. The structural nature of the deficit requires a solution based in architectural repair rather than willpower. Phase 1 is a diagnostic dopamine fast, spanning days 1 through 30. Absolute stimulus abstinence is the biological prerequisite for receptor upregulation. Removing the supranormal stimulus allows the reward system to initiate homeostatic rebalancing, recalibrating the system to baseline. Once Phase 1 stabilizes the neurochemical deficit, we move to Phase 2, cognitive behavioral neuromodulation. This 8-week phase focuses on rebuilding the frontostriatal network. Targeted interventions include executive function stress tests, like Stroop and NBAC tasks, paired with mindfulness-oriented recovery enhancement. These protocols function as specific engineering tools to induce neuroplastic repair and rebuild the frontostriatal bridge. Neuroplasticity occurs regardless of intent. It is directed either by commercial algorithms or by the individual. Operating with degraded executive hardware in high-stakes environments ensures eventual failure. Recovery is an anatomical project to reclaim biological assets lost to addiction. The prefrontal cortex is the seat of logic, personality, and power. Execute the protocol, repair the hardware, and defend it